Before I tell you this story, I want you to think about one question. What happens when the person who quietly holds everything together stops? Not because they're angry. Not because they want revenge. But because one day they realize nobody ever noticed they were doing it. For most of her life, Lena couldn't remember a time when she wasn't helping someone. It started small, watching younger cousins, picking up groceries, calling companies nobody else wanted to call, remembering passwords, paying bills, tracking deadlines, and fixing problems before anyone even noticed they existed. At family gatherings people joked about it. Don't ask me, ask Lena. Everyone laughed, and Lena usually laughed too. But over time, the joke stopped feeling funny because somehow every responsibility slowly found its way to her. Lena lived with her mother and younger brother. Everyone worked, but somehow she became the person who quietly managed everything. Online payments, renewals, appointments, customer service calls, things nobody noticed because they always got done. She never kept score. Family wasn't supposed to work like that. At least that's what she believed. Then one Tuesday evening, everything changed. The argument wasn't dramatic. Nobody yelled. Nobody slammed doors. It started with household expenses. Her mother crossed her arms and calmly said, "If you want to stay here, start paying rent." The room became quiet. Lena thought she misunderstood. Then her mother added, "You're an adult. Nobody gets to live here for free." The words weren't cruel. That was the worst part. They sounded normal. Practical. As if everything Lena already did counted for nothing. She looked around the room. Her brother looked at his phone. Nobody said, "That's not fair." Nobody defended her. And suddenly she realized something painful. Maybe she wasn't family first. Maybe she was useful first. That night she packed quietly. No fighting. No dramatic exit. She folded clothes into boxes, loaded her car, left a short note, and by sunrise she was gone. The first week felt strange. Freedom sounded amazing in theory, but in reality it felt lonely. She missed familiar noises, shared dinners, even routines she used to complain about. Several times she almost called home. Several times she stopped herself. She didn't want guilt making the decision. Then one afternoon a text arrived from her brother. The credit card declined. Another message followed immediately. "Did you forget the payment?" Lena stared at the screen. For years she would have solved the problem before anyone finished asking. But something about the wording felt strange. Not "Can you help?" Not "Are you okay?" Just an assumption that she forgot to do her job. She called him. The moment he answered, panic filled the conversation. The payment didn't go through. What happened? Without thinking she replied, "What do you mean what happened?" "I moved out." Silence. Not angry silence. Confused silence. Then her brother quietly admitted, "I just thought." Lena finished the sentence for him. Long silence. Then he finally said, "Maybe." Later he asked whether she could call the bank. She agreed. Not to fix the problem. Only to explain. The representative confirmed something simple. Only account holders could make changes. Lena had never actually owned the account. She had only been helping. Responsibility legally belonged to them. For the first time, the boundary didn't come from Lena. It came from reality. Over the following weeks, other things started happening. Appointments were missed. Renewals were forgotten. Deadlines appeared unexpectedly. Nothing catastrophic happened. Life simply became harder without the person quietly holding dozens of invisible responsibilities together. Then one evening her mother called. The conversation felt unfamiliar. Eventually she said, "I didn't realize how much you were doing." Lena sat quietly and replied. Neither did I. After the call, she sat alone in her apartment. No celebration followed. No dramatic apology. No perfect ending. But something had changed. For the first time in years, helping people became a choice instead of an expectation. And Lena realized something she wished she had learned much earlier. You should never have to earn your place in people's lives by becoming useful. Because real belonging shouldn't depend on how much you carry for everyone else. And sometimes, it's finally finding yourself.